Hi everyone, thanks for coming to our presentation. We are Joey and David. We make up group 4 of the DevOps class. And so today we'll be presenting our devopssec CA2 project. For this project we decided to make a task management system using Ruby on Rails as the framework. And the reason why we made a web app like this is because we wanted to add a bit of kind of organizational skills to people, because people nowadays are always rushing and they're always have a lot of stuff to do. So we decided to make a web app that kind of tackles that. So in the web app we made, we implemented a continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline. This automates the deployment process, and to deploy the project we used AWS or EC2, the instance specifically. So I'll start by explaining the motivation behind the project. So as I said before, the world's getting more and more fast paced, and with the likes of AI and everything like that, it's easy to kind of lose your organizational skills. So we created this kind of elaborate system to make people keep track of their tasks, so they can prioritize the important tasks and all like the personal tasks as well. So it's a create, update, view, and delete function. So it has all the necessary functions it needs to really be a solid app development. And we focused heavily on the clean and modern interface, kind of this sleek UI system. So to kind of make standout features for this app, the first things first, the dashboard. So this has all the tasks, as that David's going to go through them now in a second, but this has all the tasks in kind of a modern app way. So it has like a little, has them in big letters, big numbers, and then it shows you your total tasks, how many you've completed and how many you still have left to do. So it has a little completion bar down the bottom as well, so you know in percentage how many tasks you need to do. So you can, of course, create new tasks that you need. These can be from a range of categories, from personal to urgent to work-related tasks. And these have deadlines. And as I said, you can add a category and whether they're complete or not. You can also edit tasks. So if you're busy and a task differs than what you thought it would be before, you can edit them. And then we have a dark mode as well. So the majority of, I don't think there's an app out there now, whether a web app or a mobile app, that doesn't have a dark mode. So as people are spending more and more times on their phones, it might strain their eyes. So a dark mode would kind of be a no-brainer to be put into kind of anything like this. So as we move on, the technologies that we use in this project. So as I mentioned before, Ruby on Rails, that was a big thing for us. That's one of the more modern frameworks that we used. And for the styling, we used Bootstrap, which are 5 to be specific, as it just works very well with the Ruby on Rails. And we used one CSS page for the dark mode, as we just thought it was more efficient and it was just easier. Then, because it was a group project, we needed a certain amount of version control and collaboration effort. So for this, we used GitHub, as GitHub would be a no-brainer as well, as one of the kind of higher end collaborations. And it was just easy enough to edit the code on Visual Studio, then push the changes to GitHub. So if David wanted to do it, I could see it, or if vice versa. And then, as I mentioned also before, to deploy the website, the web app, we used AWS, as AWS is a cloud computing superpower now at this point. So they'd have the more reliable and the more scalable deployment methods. Then CI/CD pipeline was also a big one, as we use that in conjunction with GitHub Actions to build, deploy, and to test the application to move it to EC2, the AWS. And so the two of us, I think David will agree with me that we've gained a lot of valuable knowledge using AWS, using Ruby on Rails, using Bootstrap, and also working in a team. And the CI/CD pipeline has made the development process much more efficient. So we could focus on the actual project itself without having any stress over kind of the technology that we're using or the software that we're using. So if we were to extend the project further, we would have the user apps that say the user accounts, and by using that, we'd have analytics and further personalization features to it as well as possible monetization features or whatever the case may be. So I've explained the kind of general gist of the project, and now I'll pass it over to David as he's going to go through the kind of setup of the whole project and the technologies and everything like that.
Thank you for that, Joey. And now I will be covering the demonstration. In this part, we'll show you how we make a change to the application and how it can flow through the CI/CD pipeline and how it gets deployed to our EC2 instance. We will also highlight the live version of our app after deployment has been completed. So first we'll start by making a small change in the code. I'll open up Visual Studio Code here. So I'm on the dashboard here, as you can see, and I'll just change this to task dashboard. Save that. Now I'll go over to the GitHub and go to its repository. If we go to actions, you can see here that the merge was successful. All the tasks in it were successful for scanning Ruby, linting, testing, and deploying it to the EC2. And this pipeline is triggered every time we push new code to the repo. And as you can see, it worked, and this will install its dependencies, run tests, and prepare the code for deployment every time an update is made. We can check the logs to show that everything went well in here, everything's fine. Just scan through these quickly. Yep, installed Brakeman, and then in the deploy it sets up the SSH, connects to the EC2, we'll check the code, and we'll deploy it in the EC2 for the new update. So now I will git bash in using SSH and connect to the EC2 instance. That's successful, using me and Joey's private key, of course. And I will launch the server that goes up there, and then I shall connect to it using the Amazon DNS, AWS Amazon DNS link with the port on it. And as you can see, it says task dashboard, so the change came through successfully. And here I'll just also demonstrate the functionality of the task manager. So you can go in here, make a new task, say clean floor, set a date of the 8th of the 4th, 2025, 20 past 7. It is not completed, and I will set it as personal, save the task, and as you can see here, it comes up here that it is not completed, where the deadline is, what type of task it is, and just all the important information. You can also go in here now if you want to edit it, so I could say clean floor well, save, and that's that change made. You can also delete tasks as well using this. These are some other tasks as well that weren't shown on that page. Delete these as well, might as well. And as you see here, there's, as Joey mentioned, the day mode and the night mode. Now I will just bring you over to show you my AWS settings for the port and restrictions and such. So in here, if you go to security, you can see all the port restrictions and the inbound rules I created in the security group. Install these. Then there is also in the GitHub, you can see the special security settings in here. And this is the SSH key used in our GitHub repo, which provides secure access to our EC2 instance, meaning that only the authorized users can deploy latest changes to the server. And that has been Group 4's DevOppsSec project. Thank you very much for your time.